Really excited to bring you this one. I've actually been waiting a few days to get to do this because when it got delivered, it's been rainy. One day didn't rain, ice. It was just ice instead. So finally have clear enough weather to get this thing set up. And like I said, I could not be more excited. So I'm working with a new company called MODTUB. And this is a self-cooled, self-cleaning cold tub that is made out of a very large, giant grizzly cooler. And I met these guys when I was down in Dallas, Texas. I was training at the Adaptive Training Foundation, and MODTUB is a supporter of ATF. They have a unit there that I use most of the days, and I was like, man, I really like this tub. I like the size of it. I like the shape of it. I fit in it very well. And I had talked to my wife going into this past winter that I was planning to move on from the Nurecover tub by the time the weather got warmer, and I wanted a self-cooled, ideally self-cleaning tub, so couldn't have been better timing. We got to talking and we were a good fit, so really excited to bring you this piece of content. Going to show you the setup, why I like it, and I'll get into a little bit of how I do the cold tub and a couple of things that I think that if you're newer to this, it's just really good information. So let's go ahead and check out the tub, and then we're gonna check out the assembly. All right, so here's the MODTUB. I got this really, really nice blue color. They've got a lot more colors than I expected, and from, you know, your more neutrals, your blacks, your grays, and they've got some blues, some red. I think there's might even be an orange. I don't know, I'll have to double check that. But this is how it got shipped to me. Obviously it was in a box, but all the components are inside of it. And like I said, I've been waiting to make this video to do all that. So real quick, my wife and I are gonna move this to at least its temporary resting place, and we will go from there. All right, so this is basically where this thing's gonna go for now. It gets a lot of weather protection from the house right next to us. So, but for right now, we're just really simple. We're just gonna open this guy up and show you exactly how this thing comes. Like I said, considering they're shipping a very large cooler, a chiller, a filter system, the whole nine, I think it's a pretty smart little setup. They've got these little pull tabs right here. It's just real small to pull, but it also keeps it nice and secure. And here we go. We've got our MODTUB. So literally just came in 2 boxes. We've got our chiller right here. Obviously that's where the magic happens. And then we've got all of our other pieces going on in this one right here. I've also, one thing I don't have out here with me is it comes with a step, which is really nice if you're not particularly tall. They've got a little step system that mitigates that issue. So like I said, so if you come in here, you can see that the rest of everything that we're gonna get going is going to be right inside this box. And they've got a good video on their YouTube that's gonna go into the details. So I'm not gonna get too crazy in depth on the install. It says about 5 to 10 minutes with 2 people. Let's see what happens. So other than the chiller, this is everything else that was in there. One thing that's really nice, you can see that it's like labeled very clearly. It's easy to follow along. And like I said, the setup from watching the video, pretty simple. Just connecting everything, and most things seem to be that they've got a groove already made for them. All right, so if you can tell, I am no longer standing in the place we put the tub down in the first place. It was a nice idea, and then my wife realized that this was probably a little bit of a better fit, a little more room. And I just honestly, when we were originally thinking about it, we didn't think the space would really be that available, but it is. So that's what we're gonna go with. So now we've got this all set up. We've got, the whole thing is put together. Now we just have to fill it up. They provide a filter for you to connect the hose to fill it up. So we've got to do that. And then from there it's fill it up. And then We've got a couple of steps to put together, and then while that's going on, I will go over everything else that came in the box. All right, so now that we've got everything is assembled, it's where it's going to be. It's just time to fill it up. This is a brand new filter. One of the big warnings it gave was to make sure that you are clearing it out. So my wife's getting ready to go turn the water on, and we'll go from there. There it is. All right. That's what they were talking about, because that came out all black. All right. Let this guy roll. All right. So like I said, while this thing fills up, here's a couple other things that came. So it's got a filtration system. So we got a good number of filters, 6, looks like 7 filters, and then some just basics. If you've ever taken care of a pool, you've got a basic idea. If you haven't, I'm not the right guy to pretend like I know all these things. I will just be following the instructions they gave me and just keeping track of it from there. So like I said, I use one of these at Adaptive Training Foundation, and apparently these things work phenomenally well, as they have a lot of daily use, a lot of different users, and they still only have to change the water maybe once a month. It was suggested that I'll be like once every 3 to 4 months. So that's cool. Like I said, just got to keep up with a little bit of maintenance, and this thing will pretty well take care of itself. Also got this neato cup. So we are just about done getting this guy filled up. You see that little drain right there at the top that's kind of filtering the water back in. You wanted to fill it about 2 inches past that, so we're getting close. Almost time. All right, so tub is full, assembled, everything is running, nothing's leaking. We are ready to go. And luckily it's like 30 degrees outside here anyway, so they didn't even really need the chiller to get the water going. So that's pretty nice, I guess. Yeah, so I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about how I got into the cold, if you're new to the channel, and how I use it, what I use it, and how I do it. So I got into the cold tub when I was dealing with complex regional pain syndrome. This is before my amputation, and this is what led to my amputation. If you're unfamiliar, amputation was a choice for me, and it was a solution to 9 years of very severe pain. Ice became one of my biggest tools to allow me to survive through everything that I was dealing with. So I have a very special place in my heart for this practice, and it's very, very important to me. As I continue, even though I'm no longer in pain, it makes me a better version of me. I know that I'm a lot sharper when I'm consistent with the cold tub. I recover better. I operate at a higher level. So this is just, to me, if I'm gonna pull out all the stops, this is a non-negotiable. So that's how I got into cold tub. So, and the way I practice it is, it's not about more time or colder. It's about cold enough to really challenge my ability to keep in control of my breath. I would imagine when I first get in here, I'm going to be a little bit, that's going to be a little bit of the puzzle. And then the job is to try and calm that down and take control of my breath. And that is really the game. This is a challenge to your breathing. And as you get better at that, the nervous system response is just very positive. I'm not going to get into all of the observed benefits, that they've measured, and the science of it all. The science is cool. The science is great, and I love that it's being done. That being said, if there were no science, I would still be doing this. The only thing I really follow with the science currently is understood. A 3-minute cold plunge is about your sweet spot. Going longer, the benefits don't really grow. But 3 is really where the sweet spot comes in. So I'll get in there, I will start my stopwatch, and I will work to breathe for 3 minutes. My optimal goal. And since I've moved, I haven't had access to the cold tub every single day like I was. So I don't know that I'll even get there today. But at my best, I can do a 10-second triangle breath. So I inhale for 10 seconds, I hold it for 10 seconds, and I exhale for 10 seconds. So when I get in there, my first goal will actually be get to a 5-second triangle, and then a 7, and then kind of grow and grow and grow and progress. And by the time that I've done that work, 3 minutes will be done, and I'll be nice and cold, but I will feel fantastic when I get out. So that's kind of the big game. So like I said, it's cold out here. I feel like this wind that I'm getting right now is actually colder than the water. So let's go ahead and let's get this thing going. I'm going to hand the mic off because this doesn't need to go in the water, but it's way better for hearing me. Thanks, babe. Let's go. It's crisp in the sky. Love that, actually.
I didn't do anything. The microphone's right there.
Huh? Oh yeah, it's cold. It's always cold. All right, so here's what I talked about. When you get that first exposure to the cold, you're going to have that kind of panicky response. Something I was working on here that I don't recommend if you're newer is I tried to keep from mouth breathing at all. Like even in an exhale, I tried to keep that in the nose. I would say that's not a day one sort of thing. And as you see, as this speeds up, my whole goal is to actually just try and be calm and try to continue to lower my state. That's where the breathing comes in, and I think that's really where the magic happens, is by being able to lower your state in this high stress situation. And that's where I find like the carryover into the rest of my life. Like I said, when I was dealing with a ton of pain, this helped me level out in the middle of that. So that's really where the journey of these 3 minutes makes its money, as far as I'm concerned, in my experience.
Oh, all right. Woo! Okay. Yeah, I feel fantastic right now. I feel cold, but I definitely feel that boost in mood. There's a couple things about this tub in specific that I like for the amputee. One, I love the step. Makes it really easy to get in and out. I like that it's a firm, hard surface. The Nurecover is a soft tub. There's a lot of soft tubs out there. Those become challenging to get in on one leg. This becomes a lot easier. I can sit on the edge. And then from the other ones that I've experienced that are also hard tubs in some capacity, they're all a lot longer than this one. I like that this one's a little tighter and a little taller. I prefer that upright position of, say, like the ice barrel, but I prefer to be leaned back like you do in the plunge. This one really fits in the middle. Like I said, when you get into the longer tubs and only having one foot, I have found that it's just a little more challenging to get comfortable and really relax in that environment. Like I said, this one just fits really, really well. All the needs that I have found after years and years of doing different cold plunges. Man, couldn't be more excited to be working. Jesse and the team there, they're super sharp. They know what they're doing. They're in it for the right reasons. And yeah, like I said, I've been super impressed from day one. I'm impressed with the product. I love the simplicity and the utility of it all. The reality is, unless you're driving a small car, this can be portable. You just drain it, put everything inside of it, and then put it in I've got a truck, so I can just toss this in the back of the truck. And the reality is I could transport this one pretty easily as long as I just have a second person. So there we go.
All right, so I've had the MODTUB up and running for the better part of a little bit over a week now. It's been awesome getting back to having a daily practice. Most of the days I've actually been getting in twice. It's a really nice way to kind of start the day and then kind of book in the day of like, okay, I'm done working and I'm moving into down regulation, that sort of stuff. So I've loved having that option back. The last thing I just kind of wanted to part this video with was some advice for like beginners on like how to do your first one, or if you're early on just trying to get whatever the hang of this is the first things first is when you get in, it's always going to be cold. So don't hesitate. If you get in here and you stand up and you start to kind of stutter, just commit and sit down. Once we've done that, my next biggest recommendation is to figure out a way to catch yourself at either the top or the bottom of the breath. You're going to have this panic response where you go, and it's going to force this very fast respiration rate. The second you can, again, interrupt that at all, it's going to help a lot towards gaining more and more control. That's now momentum for you. From there, one of them, this advice is very not scientific, but it's really works for me, and it's worked for a couple people now. Is smile. Like, I know it sounds goofy and it's probably going to be forced. You're sitting there, but by just literally the act of smiling for whatever reason is really helpful. Again, in interrupting that panic response. That's not something you do when you're panicking. Why that might work, I don't know, but a very anecdotal piece of advice there. And then the first thing I would work toward is just simply getting to a 5-second triangle breath. Inhale for 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just work on trying to get that first. That gives you that interruption. So first steps first, just commit, sit down. From there, figure out a way to interrupt that panicky up, down, in, out with the breath. And then work just to get into that 5. Before you gather any of that, I don't think a lot of the other strategies are really that meaningful. So that's my recommendation if you're getting into this for like the very first time. So let's go ahead. Like I said, I'm just going to wrap this video up with one more plunge.